So as you may have guessed from the title, today I'm reviewing Edgar Wright's new movie, Baby Driver. So straight off the bat, I'm gonna say it, I adored this movie. I adored it. Edgar Wright is one of my favourite directors. The Cornetto trilogy he did with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost will always hold a special place in my heart. And so when I heard he was doing a new film, completely solo written, I was really, really excited. And it's safe to say that I was not disappointed at all. I left that cinema with my heart still racing, a massive smile plastered on my face, and impatient to see it again and again and again. Because doubtlessly I will be viewing this film multiple times because it is just so good. So for anyone who has happened to miss this film at all, I will briefly summarise the plot. The film follows a young getaway driver called Baby, yes, B-A-B-Y, Baby. And it follows him in this world of criminals until he meets a girl called Deborah and realises that all he really wants is to get away from it and escape this world where he just doesn't belong. I guess I can't say any more because it will spoil the plot, but you can expect car chases, some really cute romantic scenes, some real moments of suspense and drama, and just everything. Everything is mashed into this film and it works perfectly. They tried not to use CGI as much as possible, and so the car chases that you see taking place in small alleyways actually did take place in small alleyways and on the big roads and in the actual locations for as many as they could. And that really shines through in the film. Everything about it seems so real, and that's why it is so compelling and so much fun. Of course, this links to the idea of Edgar Wright being an incredibly visual director, and the film itself is stunning. It's just so satisfying to watch. The car chases are so intense. It really has you on the edge of your seat wanting to know what happens next, and you feel almost as if you're in the car with them because it's so tense. And also there are other scenes which have no real action going on, but they're choreographed so well and they look so good that it's just so satisfying to watch. I think a good example of that is there's one scene where Baby is going to pick up coffee and he does this sort of dance to get them, and it's just so fun to watch because he's dancing but everyone around him is acting as if he's a total weirdo just dancing in the street, which he effectively is. And of course it's synced up to the music to the T. It is so satisfying. And also sticking with this scene, because he has to go to get the coffee and then go back in the same direction, there are a few characters in the background who you get to hear talking, and what they say matches up to the music, and they have their own little stories that are really minute, but it's just so interesting and so original. It just is so original. Something I personally really like is that Edgar Wright, in a situation where he could have one character just tell another character a piece of information, he decides to use visuals instead to do this, whether that's Baby dancing whilst getting coffee to show how much he enjoys driving and just the buzz of it, or having wads of cash thrown down onto a table which is just perfectly framed and synced to the music. He does that instead, and I think it's really effective because an audience isn't necessarily aware of it, but they understand that information as much as they would if a character were to say it to someone else, and it's just so cool. As I briefly mentioned, the whole film is written around music. The music is insane. It's so good. Pre-ordered on vinyl because it's perfect. It's such a great soundtrack, and what's more is that each song fits the scene perfectly. Well, to say that the song fits the scene isn't right, because really the scene fits the song. You definitely get the feeling that everything, the entire film was written around the songs rather than anything else. And so the music not only fits with the action, but also with the message the scene is trying to get across. And it's so good. It's so interesting to watch. I just think it's so unique how he does it, because the entire 2-hour film is synced up to music, and it's just really cool. It's just so satisfying to watch. Also, the songs that were used in the soundtrack were all very different. You had a massive range of genres and styles, and each one, as I said, fitted with the scene really well, and it made it really interesting for the audience to listen to and to watch, obviously. For example, there was a scene where Dave Brubeck's Unsquared Dance came on, and that compared to Queen's Brighton Rock, they can't really get more different, and yet they work so well, and it's so interesting, and it's amazing. And I mean, the concept itself is just, how could you think of something that clever? It's so good. All of this put together really creates a film that seems homemade and really engaging and just so original. Beyond original, unlike anything I've ever seen before. Yes, it takes from a lot of different genres, but in a way that I've never seen before, and I don't think has been done before. And so I think, it's just really good. I should briefly mention the cast because they were all phenomenal. Ansel Elgort, who plays Baby, really carries this film. It is a film all about him. I genuinely don't think I have sympathised with the character more than I have with Baby, but he doesn't actually have that many lines. A lot of the time he is quite quiet. I just think it's phenomenal how powerful his performance is considering this. A lot of the time he doesn't have to say anything for you to completely understand what he means and what he's thinking and feeling. It's just so impressive and so compelling on screen. You cannot take your eyes off him. There's Jamie Foxx, whose character you love to hate, Kevin Spacey, Lily James, others whose names I've completely forgotten, but they're all really good and they all have their moment to shine. None of them seem half-hearted, they're all done really well. Something else that I found really interesting about this film was that when it was nearing the end, there were multiple moments when I thought the film was about to stop and I thought, that's resolved, everything can be tied up now and we can leave, it's all done. And then Edgar Wright would just throw something new in there. Every time you thought it was going to stop, it's like, no, we're not done yet, here's something else he has to deal with, here's another obstacle. I was so happy about that because every time he just threw something new in that was more interesting or more exciting to watch, and I just didn't want it to end. And also the ending itself, I won't actually give any details because spoilers, but the ending itself is so interesting. I had absolutely no idea how it was going to end. Normally I'm really good at guessing the ending, but this film I had no idea what they could do because you wanted every character to have a moment of redemption or revenge or a happy ending, and it didn't seem possible for that all to happen, but it did, and it was such a perfect ending. I was so happy with it and so satisfied. Honestly, just go see this film because I genuinely think it will be the best of this year, or at least it will definitely be one of my favourite films. Probably top 5? Definitely top 5. Definitely top 5. Considering Edgar Wright first began constructing the idea for this film back in 1995, I think, when he was listening to the song Bell Bottoms, which is the first one to play in this film, and 12 years later we have Baby Driver, it's safe to say that I will be more than happy to wait for Edgar Wright to make another film that is half as good as Baby Driver. For anyone who is watching this who was at all intrigued by this film, go see it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This film is not a film, it is a sensory delight. It is an experience and it is amazing. That's everything I think I have to say on this film. Treat yourself with a ticket to see this film. Let me know if you have seen it or intend to see it in the comments down below, and I'll see you when I see you.